For the past couple of months, Tucker Carlson's show has effectively just been, don't worry about blank. White supremacists in the Capitol, that's not a thing, even though it's very much a thing. QAnon, why are people worried about this? I'm not saying it's true, I'm just saying no one should ever doubt it whatsoever. That has been a common thread for literally weeks, leading up to what I hope is the peak of it, this video.
So it's worth finding out where the public is getting all this false information, this disinformation, as we'll call it. So we checked. We spent all day trying to locate the famous QAnon, which in the end we learned is not even a website. If it's out there, we could not find it. Then we checked Marjorie Taylor Greene's Twitter feed because we have heard she traffics in disinformation, seen and told us, but nothing there.
Edwin, who I love, sent this to me, and I just thought, I hate my life, and I hate Edwin for giving me this clip because that. What are we supposed to do, JR? Guy's got a massive audience. He makes $1 billion. People trust everything he says. Us chuckleheads, they'll never trust like they do him. What was any of those words?
It was a confirmation for the BS that he's been pushing for years. It's just, you have to continue to feed the same thing. Like if you're holding people mentally hostage, you gotta keep feeding them the stupid stuff so they can continue to keep thinking what you're thinking. So we searched for QAnon, couldn't find it there. I searched under the rug, no QAnon here. I went on the internet, where's QAnon? Oh, it's weird, but you somehow found Antifa on the internet. You somehow found Antifa being this organization that busses people out and puts them together in these spots to rise up against the government and kill police officers just to mess things up. That's what you found? Did you find that, or did you just say it? Oh, BLM, we talked to BLM. Who did you talk to from BLM? Hey, that random guy on the street in Los Angeles, you said, hey, BLM, there's a BLM leader right there.
That's the leader.
It's weird how you can find leaders for organizations that you want to disparage, but you cannot find the leaders for organizations when they walk out with signs that say, hey, Q, or maybe there's this one woman who just got elected to Congress who continues, by the way, he said he searched her Twitter page for anything about Q. Search a little harder, or maybe read something else that talked about all of her Q connections.
Jared, it's even a little bit worse than that because he said he looked and his team looked on her Twitter feed for disinformation of any kind and couldn't find it. I don't think you looked that hard. I think someone was like playing Minecraft or something when they were supposed to be working. So recently, this ties into two things we've been talking about recently. One is, what did I just say about Americans doing their own research on the internet and how that tends to work out? They couldn't find QAnon on Dr. Google. And then also we've been saying, why does Tucker Carlson constantly ask these rhetorical questions that there are very much answers for when he has a massive production team? Now we know the answer because they don't know what they're doing. They think I want to take a live view of them doing research. Okay, gotta find QAnon. www.qanon.com. There's nothing. That's not how it works, you idiot. But of course, all of this is pointless because he knows that. He knows it's not QAnon.com. He's not even like, Jerry, you were like, he's trying to find the leadership. He said he can't find anything. So like there is a significant chunk of his population that was watching that clip that believes in QAnon, and we're like, yeah, Tucker, that's good. You couldn't find it. That's good. I believe it's totally true. They're eating faces, but that's good. And he knows that his fans believe in it, but it doesn't exist. It's nowhere. It's nothing. All the people with the Qs at the Capitol, it's totally made up, doesn't actually exist. All the different forums and accounts on Instagram and YouTube accounts making their long videos and all the conspiratorial stuff and the hundreds long Twitter or threads on like 4chan and 8chan looking into the breadcrumbs and all that. No, he searched for QAnon.net and didn't find it, so we're good, we're done. And he is one of the most followed people in media in the entire country, spinning a web of obvious lies that he doesn't believe.
It's not even really trying anymore. That's a pretty obvious clip right there. Anybody who was watching had to be like, oh, this is I would have given him not even a pass, but I would have understood it if this was posed as a, I'm just gonna have this sarcastic, snarky segment really fast to let my viewers laugh a little bit, because this is not serious at all. That's what it sounds like. And you maybe have left going, well, they laughed at the end of this, right? I hope maybe I should go back and watch it. Maybe they laughed at the end of it. Maybe it was a joke, because that's definitely what it sounded like. And John, I've blown the lid off of this whole thing. I just searched, website, TrumpInsurrectionists.com. I didn't get anything, so therefore there was no Trump insurrectionists, there was no January 6th. In fact, January skipped from January 5th straight to January 7th. There was no such thing as January 6th, because TrumpInsurrectionists.com didn't come up with anything. I searched high and low, I checked everywhere, can't find it. It doesn't exist. Did you know that? This is a hard one.
JR.
Oh man.
I just searched for January6th.com. And it's a very weird, I'm actually clicking on it.
Don't do it, bro.
It's not about politics at all. Oh my God, we're breaking news, everyone. No, this is just such BS, and he knows it, and we know it, and you know it. And it feels so pointless, and yet he is so influential. So like, what are we supposed to do? It's just all so fake. His show is just like, it's there were groups that attacked the Capitol trying to murder politicians, and his only coverage of it for more than a month and a half is, oh, don't listen to the FBI and the Capitol Police when they tell you about the links to the different militia groups and the hate groups and neo-Nazi groups, or the over 200 people that have been arrested with known links to these organizations. None of that's true. Like, it is exactly the same thing on a different scale as if after 9/11 you just did 2 months of no, it had nothing to do with Al Qaeda, had nothing to do with bin Laden. Like, if a major news show that was their only approach to an attack against our country was saying it didn't happen, none of the people they say was involved were involved, and yet he's been doing that, and it's barely a topic. This guy who gets millions of viewers, who is not just has his show on Fox, which would be bad enough considering its viewership, but Fox is giving more and more of the control over their programming to him in particular, and tens of millions of Americans watch that programming. This is a serious thing. It's not serious, it's laughable, but it's serious beyond that.
That's the MO. That's what it works. As you said, he eliminates everything. There's no such thing. You mentioned this. There's no such thing as white supremacy. There's no such thing as QAnon. He said that a few times. There's just no such thing as anything that actually makes us look like exactly who we are. If it's a bad thing, it doesn't exist. It sounds like a 6-year-old's argument when he gets caught. Hey, Jimmy, I see you sneaking in the cookies. There's no cookies. What cookies, Mom? As crumbs fall off his face. This is what we're working. These are the disagreements we have. Except little Jimmy has a nightly show on cable news and has millions of people watching him. That's the only difference. And everyone's listening to him going, well, Jimmy said there's no cookies.
Yeah, Keltec says maybe they should have searched for the internet hacker known as 4chan. We couldn't find him. I just searched frozenwindmills.com. Nothing. I've blown this whole thing wide open. But
it doesn't have to make sense.
Chuckleheads on YouTube. We're not serious. That's serious. Tucker Carlson's serious. We're not serious.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.